Welcome back to another edition of Let's Talk with yours truly, Big Chief and Stero.
Yes.
Hope you guys had a great week. Everything is good. And this week we're going to get into, Mr. Desantis
Yes.
and his shenanigans.
So, audience out there, I want to thank you guys for always tuning in and giving us the support and helping in our platform to grow. Now, today we're discussing Desantis. Who's Desantis? The governor of the good old state of Florida. Now, he has been embarking on banning books or books that's not deemed geared towards a certain demographics within America, per se. And he's just been spearheaded. Actually, he spearheaded a campaign and also signed into legislation the Ban the Woke Act, and in which he they're banning books, certain type of books like Gone with the Wind, Huckleberry Finn, and books to that nature. And also there's some communities within Florida itself and some counties that are basically embarking on banning books as well. Now, with that being said, there's a lot of controversy because certain books that he's banning also entails books that deal with slavery, in addition to reparation, in addition to the criminal justice system,
Civil rights,
inequality in America, LGBTQ, and so forth.
anything that's deemed controversial or would, spearhead some type of, revolutionary thinking, so to speak, that he would like to quell that particular, fire within people. And I guess, this totalitarian, move of banning books is just the first step. Because as we see, that guy from World War I, Germany, did that, to the Jewish individuals. And I guess as much as things change, history stays the same.
Yeah, so, just to expound on that, prior to World War II, Hitler and the Nazis, they were banning books that was not to their favor, or books that discuss about the Nazi plan and what they're up to, or potentially what they would do in the future. And they linked up with students from the colleges and the schools, and the students went around and collected certain type of books that they deemed that it's not to their standing and liking, and they were burning books back in the 1930s. And that's very critical. We all know that a lot of times in the past, where conquerors come and conquer, one of the first things they do is to burn books or manuscripts and so forth. So it's a very touchy subject when it comes to politicians leading and spearheading campaigns to ban certain books that doesn't shed a positive light on certain situation that they're against, right? And it might start with DeSantis, and it might spread with other governors in other states and so forth. Me personally, I believe that the books in the school system in general should not be banned by a politician. What happened to the student body? What happened to the parents, teachers, organizations? What about the school boards, right? What about voters? All of this, in terms of the school, in terms of the book, should be addressed by these civic society, as opposed to just a politician just making that decision and just going ahead and banning the books. It's very, very dangerous.
I mean, a body should be put in place to, regulate the literature that's coming and going. But at the end of the day, it's like, what is he so scared of?
Yes.
What does he have to hide? What does he have to fear? I mean, reading and just literature, period, You know, books, that you have lovers of books and lovers of knowledge and individuals who seek that stuff out. So when you want to come and stifle that particular element and aspect of people's livelihood, you're going to get a backlash.
Yes.
You know?
And what I'm like really like perplexed about is that, okay, so you pass legislation, but who's out there now at this time that's going to challenge DeSantis in the courts? Has any lawsuits been filed to block DeSantis from doing this? You know, to take it up to the Supreme Court? What is happening? Is there anyone brave enough to do that? Because DeSantis now, we know that he's a potential candidate to run for president. And he's playing to his base. Okay, we know his politics, right? He's playing to his base. And he's saying that, okay, so the woke movement, he's trying to put a stop to the woke movement, right? And like I say, he's playing to his base, and his base don't want, from what I've heard, to feel the guilt or feel guilty of, okay, knowing that, okay, we all know slavery and the civil rights movement, that your children feel guilty of being in a classroom and the discussion about slavery and how black people were treated back then to present day. They don't want to feel they don't want their kids to feel the guilt of.
It sounds like a personal thing, because at the end of the day, that is American history.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
You can't whitewash American history.
An undeniable part of American history.
Yeah.
An integral part of American history. So he can ban as many books as he wants to at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It still does not change the course of history or the narrative.
Correct.
So as far as someone or somebody challenging this, that remains to be seen.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, you know, you have these coteries within government and these, you know, cliques that are all, you know, bunched up together, and they don't want to offend, and they want to, you know, be friends with, and they want to get their legislation passed and different things. So they're going to buddy up to certain people, or, you know, be super friendly with others. And it's just like,
So let me get this here. So DeSantis, they want to, in general, they want to ban books that have dealt with the 1950s and the 1960s civil rights struggle. So you mean to tell me that modern kids nowadays will not learn about the civil rights movements and about the struggles in America for human rights and civil rights? They will not learn about this. This is not a part of American history. But yet still you want to teach them about the Confederacy and Robert E. Lee, and I just don't get it. Make it make sense for me.
I mean, I feel like at the end of the day, it plays into the narrative that, you know, they want to control. That, you know, they're the individuals who were, you know, the great, you know, forefathers of, you know, our history, and the pillars, and, you know, the ones who were set in stone as far as shaping what we have as a nation today. And for that image to be tarnished by, you know, saying that, well, you know, some of those individuals were slave owners, some of those individuals, you know, were involved with a whole bunch of evil and malicious acts towards people of color, you know, it kind of like shifts that, you know, angelic look, so to speak, that they're trying to narrate towards these individuals. So
no matter what they do, they cannot whitewash history, period.
That's a fact.
You put a white coat of paint on it, you know, eventually it's going to start stripping away, and you're going to see that coating, that dark coating, that black coating underneath. You get what I'm saying? Because he will be challenged. The state of Florida will be challenged. You know, there will be individuals out there that's going to challenge the system, and I implore that they do, because it starts with DeSantis, and this might spread like wildfire around America with this banning of books. It's a bad precedent.
I mean, he does have his loyalists.
Correct.
And individuals that are like, yes, ban the books, you know. But for free thinkers such as yourself and me, you know, it's like, that's crazy, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, to think that, you know, 5 to 10 years from now, that this could possibly be the norm in schools around the country.
Yes.
You know? It's a very scary, scary thought.
It's like a domino effect, you know. You start with Desantis and the dominoes start toppling down, you know, and it start hitting all the different school boards and municipalities and counties and so forth, and, you know, leading up to certain the states. Who knows? You know, we don't know where this is going, but I definitely believe, I'm of the belief that we have to mitigate this and nip it in the bud. And DeSantis is he's taking a stand that this is what I'm going to do, right? This is what the conservatives are going to do, and this is the way we do it. This is how it starts, right? And it starts with them with this, and this is how it should end with them with this, by challenging it in the court of law.
It's all about will the people stand up and, you know, fight for what they believe is right, and, you know, neglect, you know, oppressive mind states and, you know, totalitarian, authoritarian, you know, movements of such, and, you know, we'll see how it pans out over the next few months, you know.
Because 2 years ago, actually a year and a half ago, you know, DeSantis passed legislation, and actually the Disney company was against the legislation was passed, which it basically saying that it discriminated against you know, LGBTQ families and so forth. And what you know, DeSantis did was it took away like the tax abatement from Disney, and it's just like it started from that, and then now is encroaching on this now in terms of banning books. What is next?
It remains to be seen. But stay tuned to Chief and Sterile. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And we'll definitely keep you abreast of the developments in this particular hot topic.
We'll definitely do a follow-up on this.
Indeed.
Yeah. So, peace out. We love you, man.
Bless.